Hey, it is 12 noon on Friday, which means it's time for our weekly mastermind state of real estate. And what we're talking about today is my most highly recommended method for a new agent to find new business, and that's through holding open houses. Open houses are a fantastic way to find new business, not only because they work if they're done correctly, but they also give you a great sandbox type of environment to practice your real estate skills. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Really the three stages, the before, the during, and the after of the open house to really maximize the profitability of your open house, to get the highest return on your investment of your time of this open house, and to capitalize on every person that walks in the door. So that's what we're covering today. If you've got questions on it, maybe something you want to share about open houses with everyone watching, drop that in the chat, put it in the comments. I'm John Christmas. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. You're watching State of Real Estate.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. I'm John Christmas. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. We're live helping you mastermind to grow your real estate business, to become more successful. And this is an especially helpful episode for new agents because open houses, again, are my most highly recommended method for a new agent to seek out new business. But maybe you're not new to the industry. Maybe you're not new whatsoever and you're just looking for a new way to find business and you haven't really done open houses before. Not only does the seller love it when we hold an open house, but we'll also love it when we do it correctly. But now, in order to really maximize your open house, you have to be very intentional about these three stages of the open house. The before, the during, and the after. Now, most of the time when an agent is doing the open house, they're only focused on during the open house. They're only focused on, okay, I've got the open house here. Let's make things happen. But the problem is if you don't put enough attention on the before steps of what you do before you hold the open house, you're not going to get a great turnout at the open house. And that's what a lot of agents are dissatisfied with the open houses, is because they have so few people coming to the open house. And when you have such few people coming to the open house, I mean, how is it possible to even make it somewhat profitable, let alone maximize your return on your investment? So in the before stages, you've got to do everything you can to maximize the attendance at your open house, to get the most amount of people in that door possible. That's what's really going to make your during worthwhile. But then you also want to think about what happens after the open house. Because so many agents, they'll go hold an open house and they'll meet some potential buyers, maybe some potential sellers even, but nothing happens at the open house and they never talk to them again. So the follow-up, and that's not the exam term for follow-up. If you're taking a real estate exam, remember follow-up is after the sale. But if you've already passed your exam, forget that definition of follow-up, because the sales definition of follow-up is staying in touch with somebody regardless, whether it's before or after the sale. So if we haven't made a sale yet, we absolutely want to follow up with them. If we began establishing the relationship, that's really where we're making our first sale. There's nothing really being transacted monetarily, but we're selling ourselves. And if they're buying ourselves, we want to make sure we follow up after that sale of them, liking us as a real estate professional. So these three stages are designed to work together, but if you lack on any one of these three, you're not going to maximize the potential of your open house. You've got to put effort before, during, and after the open house to really make sure that this is a profitable endeavor for you. So let's start off first by talking about the before of the open house. So the goal of before the open house is to maximize traffic. Maximize the amount of people coming to your open house. And what we need to do here is maximize the exposure, because we're not getting traffic yet. We don't get traffic until the actual open house. That's when we get people actually coming to the open house. So the before, really what we're doing is maximizing exposure. And there's a lot of ways it is that we can maximize exposure. Advertising is a great way. Really, we could probably consider everything you'd be doing to maximize exposure to the open house advertising, how hands-on or hands-off it may be. So, maybe this is Facebook ads. Maybe this is a flyer. Maybe this is for, maybe some sort of mailing that you do to your current prospects. Maybe it's email that you send out if you're going to go digital with it. Maybe it's a newspaper. Might still work depending on your market. Probably will work in most markets, but yeah, and the list could go on and the way it is that you can maximize the exposure. Now, what if you don't have any money for advertising? What can you do then if you don't have any money to spend to advertise the open house? Well, with that flyer, go out and just go knocking on doors. Go to your office. Hopefully you get free copies at your office. Print up 100 or 500 flyers and then just go knocking on doors. If they answer, great. Invite them to the open house. And look, they're gonna say, hey, look, no, we're not interested in buying, or if we are interested in buying, we're not gonna to move to this area again. Oh yeah, I completely understand, but I would love for you to stop by still, especially if you're thinking about something. You can kind of take a look at the competition that's out there, and plus we'll have refreshments, blah, 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 blah. The goal is getting them in the door. And if they make the effort to come through the door, to come to the open house, they're somewhat interested one way or another. Either buying a house, selling a house, or a combination of the both. So the door knocking is a great way. Yeah, you got to maybe spend a little bit of money to get the flyers printed up. Again, maybe you can get free copies somewhere and you just print them up that way. You knock on the doors, hopefully you get an interaction with them. And if not, you just leave it right there on their door. Hey, sorry I missed you. Hope to see you at the open house. So some way, somehow, you need to be maximizing the exposure. And I would even go so far to say as have an RSVP list. Throw that up here. You should make some sort of system for them to RSVP that they're going to come to the open house. Whether this is you get their phone number and just send them a text message, hey, look, let me just text you an invite real quick, and if you can, just RSVP back to that number if you're able to make it. And this allows you to follow up to just get them to the open house in the first place. Maybe you're running a Facebook ad online. Maybe you send them to some sort of lead squeeze page where RSVP now for a VIP premiere appointment, whatever it is you want to call it, for the open house. Something like that. Now you might be saying, well, John, no one does that for open houses. Exactly. That's why so many agents hate doing open houses, is because they're not doing them correctly. They're not maximizing. That's the number one problem, I would say, with any open house. Anytime you have an agent that's dissatisfied with the open house they just held, I guarantee you, if not the main problem, most of the problem is going to be from not getting enough bodies in the house, not getting enough people to look at the property. Because look, if there's nobody coming to this open house, what are we doing wasting our time there? We're not there to hang out at the house. We're there to showcase the property to potentially interested buyers, but also potentially interested sellers. So that brings me to the where you want to target your advertising. Now, the best place to start out with is the neighborhood. Best place to start is in that neighborhood. And you might say, well, John, what do people really do that? Well, do they really move from one house in the neighborhood to the same to another house in that same neighborhood? Yes, but not often. So what's my point of telling you to start advertising in that same neighborhood that the house is in? So this isn't necessarily trying to find buyers, it's trying to find sellers. And the sellers are what's also called the nosy neighbors. these are the people that are in the neighborhood and they just want to go check out the open house because they want to see, what the house looks like. If they do decide to sell, what their competition is like. So you want the nosy neighbors at the open house and you want to develop a relationship with them. Yeah, they're probably not ready to sell right this second, but when they are, not only do you have a seller lead, but also a buyer lead, because they're probably not going to just sell their house and decide to be homeless. They're probably going to need to buy something else as well. So you really want to get your foot in the door early, because that makes the future relationship so much easier going through the sales process, and this is a great way to do that. So you want to focus your marketing efforts first and foremost with the neighborhood that the property is in. Every person in the neighborhood should know that the open house is there and that they're invited, that you're hoping that they'll make it. Because the ones that do show up are the ones that are slightly more motivated than the rest of the people in the neighborhood of selling. They're thinking about selling. Maybe thinking about buying. Maybe they're looking to pick up investment properties. Who knows? It's your job during the open house to find this information out, to build a relationship, to establish the relationship. And we'll talk about the during, but this don't worry about what you're doing during the open house until you've got this down. Because if you don't put the proper and necessary effort forth before the open house, no one's going to show up. What's the point of holding an open house where no one shows up? So, number one, the neighborhood that the open house is in. Then number two, any potential prospects maybe that you have, any buyers maybe that you're already working with. Hey, I'm holding an open house this Saturday at this address. Hope you could make it. I would love to get your feedback on this house I could pass along to the seller. I know this house might not be perfect for you, but I'd love for you to come take a look if you can. Maybe it does turn out that you like it. If not, I could just get some feedback from you to pass along to the seller. So something like that, we're inviting our clients it is that we're currently working with, maybe even clients it is that we've worked with in the past. Doesn't hurt to invite somebody. Everyone likes to be invited to things. People feel left out when they're not invited, so don't feel bad about inviting the wrong person. Everybody's the right person to invite, and what determines whether or not they're really the right person to be a potential client is if they even show up. If they show up in the first place, they're interested. They're interested in either buying or selling real estate, possibly even both. So that's the biggest thing that's most important, is the before. And you could do videos, you could do pictures, you could do little online lead pages, squeeze page type of things. You could do so many ways to market and advertise this property for sale. Signs, putting out signs, that's a big way to capitalize on traffic in the area, but you shouldn't rely on that if you want to maximize the amount of people coming to your open house. And then one other thing I want to mention as well, let's say you don't have any listings. If you don't have any listings, well, how do you go about getting an open house? If you don't have any properties listed for sale, you don't have any sellers working with you, how do you get an open house? So two ways I would recommend for you to get an open house that you should have no problem with either of these two methods. Might need a little persistence with some of them. But number one, just borrow a listing. Borrow a listing from another agent in your office or from your broker or from somebody who wants an open house done to make their seller happy, or that somebody that is a for sale by owner. So the two ways you could find potential open houses when you don't have any listings yourself is borrowing a listing from another agent or talking to a for sale by owner. Hey, I know that you're trying to sell it on your own. I completely respect that. Look, I wanted to help you out, and this will help me as well, because look, when you go into these for sale by owner situations, you got to explain to them what's in it for you, because if they see there's nothing in it for you, they feel like you're hiding something. You're going to try to trick them into listing the house or having to pay you a commission. And just give them a call. Hey, I see you guys are trying to sell the house on your own. Maybe how's that going for you? Get on some common ground and whatnot. Hey, look, I'm not here trying to convince you to list the property with me, but I would like to hold an open house at this property. The reason why I want to do this is because we might find a buyer for your house for you, and if we do, I'd be willing to not take any commission on that for you letting me hold the open house, or maybe you do charge them a commission. That's up to you how you structure this. But what's in it for me is there's going to be a lot of people that are interested in the property but might not want to buy the property, and I want to be able to capitalize on that to be the realtor that does help them buy the property. So I feel like this will be a great win-win situation for the two of us here. We could potentially get your house sold. I'm going to expose it and advertise it to a lot of potential buyers. And then in worst case scenario, if we don't get it sold, we'll at least get a lot of traffic and attention on the property. So you want to clean that up and word it out in a style that works for you. Whether or not it is you'd want to charge them a commission, maybe you try to charge them a commission. They say, oh, no, I don't want to pay any commission. Okay, fine, I'll do the open house for free because I just really want to work with as many people as possible. And if they help if they want to buy your house, I'd be happy to assist them in that process. So that's how you could get a listing without having any listings. And it's not really a listing, getting an open house without having any listings. And that's everything really that you want to do before. Number one, secure some place to actually do the open house, but then maximize the exposure of that open house so you get as many people as possible seeing that open house. The more exposure that you get about the open house, the more people that will show up at the open house. So that's what you need to be doing beforehand. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about what to do during the open house as well as after the open house, because if you don't do those other two steps, you don't actually have the open house, or you don't hold it correctly, you don't follow up at all after the open house, still not great. So these three pieces have got to go together. What's most important is what you do beforehand, and then what's most important is what you do during, and then what's most important is you do after. So it depends what stage you're in, but these are all extremely important. You fail at any one of these, the before, the during, or the after, you're not going to have the best open house. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. I'm John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate, and you're watching State of Real Estate.
Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. I'm John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Today we're talking about holding great open houses. This is something that every agent should be doing. Every real estate professional should be holding open houses. If not holding them directly, you've got somebody holding the open houses for you. Now, these are time intensive for an open house, but they can be extremely profitable. They can be an extreme return on your investment if you maximize them. And in order to maximize them, you have to manage these three parts we've been talking about: the before, the during, and the after. You maximize those three independent parts, you're going to have a great open house. And what's most important is starting off in this order with the before, everything we've talked about beforehand, because if you don't get any exposure for the open house, it doesn't matter what you do during or after if no one shows up. You're going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs if you didn't do anything to get exposure to the open house, maybe no one shows up, then you have nothing to do after the open house. So that first step really is the most important, because without it, everything else fails. But if you don't do a great open house while you're at the open house, doesn't matter how many people you got in there, you've got to be able to capitalize on the people that are walking in. So for during the open house, now hopefully we did our job before the open house and we're really getting a great turnout at the open house. So some of the things I'd recommend that you have. So number one, get help. Have somebody else there that would benefit from it. The best way to do that is some mortgage loan originator. Some hungry, ambitious mortgage loan originator. If you get one of them at the open house, now you've got double the man or woman power to handle everyone coming in to the open house. And if you're really maximizing the traffic there, then you're going to need some help with that. So get some help. Mortgage loan originators, maybe anyone it is that you could tie into this year, almost like it's, some sort of like fair, or, like almost like a block party concept. More and more people in the neighborhood coming over to check it out. And this allows you to really focus your attention on the coming over to check the people that need the most of your attention, the people that are the lowest hanging fruit, that are furthest down the funnel, that are ready to buy a house right now or ready to sell their house right now. You want to divert your most attention to them. Now, you do want to try to get attention to everyone that's there, because it's great to find that low hanging fruit, but you don't want to miss out on the people that are, maybe 6 months or a year down the road from buying or selling. 6 months or a year from now, you're going to be really grateful that you established a relationship with them. But again, you've got to prioritize this a little bit. So any help it is you could bring in, mortgage loan originator, or any sort of vendor that you could seem fitting. Look, there's no rules to this here. Maybe there's some rules with the Real Estate Selling Procedures Act of how the lender maybe pays for advertising or something like that. But aside from that, there's really no rules. So maybe it's a pest control company that you're friends with, and you want to bring them in and say, hey, you want to help me hold this open house here? There'll be a lot of people from the neighborhood coming in. You can maybe talk to them about pest control. Maybe set up a little table with some pamphlets, flyers, stuff like that. And you could, again, do as you see fit with this, but the point being here, if you're busy, they're able to talk to these other people, and they could say, hey, John, you need to talk to Debbie over here. Come on over, because he's identified that, oh yeah, Debbie's a great lead, and you want to do the same thing for them and really make this having a team, a very informal team of people capitalizing on this open house. So definitely have help there. Have some sort of sign-in. And there's a few ways you go about doing this. Maybe you're having some sort of raffle or giveaway. Some sort of raffle or giveaway. Maybe you're asking to survey them. Say, hey, do you mind if I give you a call tomorrow so I could get some feedback to pass along to the seller of what you thought about at the house? So maybe survey is another method to get contact information. Another method you could utilize, this one doesn't always work. These last two, we'll put them together here. So for security or just a basic sign-in. You've probably seen these before. Hey, do you guys mind signing in on the clipboard up at the front? Well, why should we? Because you got to sign in on the clipboard. That's what we do here. If you want to see the house, you got to sign in on the clipboard. You know what they're going to do on the clipboard? Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. There we go. And what are you going to do? Go over there and check it out? Well, you just scribbled on here. I need you to put your real name and your phone number. Well, why? So I could contact you afterwards and try to sell you a house. They're not going to be incentivized to do that. So I would basically say, if that's the way you're going to do it, don't even bother trying to collect information. I mean, maybe it's worth it because maybe you'll get a couple names. But look, these two are powerful. If you even if it's just like a $25 gift card you're giving away, people get excited about winning things. So they'll definitely sign up for something like that, and they'll put accurate information. That's probably the best way to do this. Surveys, those work as well because, people want to feel valued. They want to feel like they're important. And when you're saying their feedback is important, we want to survey you after the open house, they might be willing to put their information in there. But then also they might still do that little scribble or just make up a name, make up a phone number, who knows. Raffle or giveaway, though, they're going to win a gift card. Don't even have to tell them how much it is they're going to win. Check your local laws on that. So you don't have to tell them how much it is that they're going to win. And, they just see, oh, wow, a gift card giveaway. Yeah, let me put this down on here. And maybe even kind of tell them a little bit, hey, yeah, you know what, I'll go ahead and put 2 entries down for you if you want to put both you and your spouse on there, so that way you guys double your chances of winning the gift card. Oh, okay, here we go, perfect. So something like that, it's a great way to get people's information. And if you establish a great relationship, they won't care how you got their information. What matters is that you have a great relationship with them. And that's really the last thing I would recommend really for during the open house. Absolutely have some way to get their contact information. Look, you might be able to be creative and have a way that works even better than these here. More power to you. That's what will make your open houses even more profitable. But if you're looking for a way to start out, raffle surveys, ideally the raffle giveaway type of thing, those are the best ways to get accurate contact info. But yeah, so it's important to have help, have assistance there. It's important to have some sort of sign-in, but then also you've got to showcase not the house, but you. And I'm not saying, hey, by the way, I'm the top real estate agent in the Tampa Bay area. I've sold this many homes and blah, 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 blah. Bunch of words that no one's listening to because they don't care about your life story. But what they don't tell them that you're the greatest, show them that you're the greatest. So, maybe before you do this open house, you go watch House Hunters a little bit, or maybe Property Brothers, or who knows, all these TV shows that people watch and people see, and that's what they expect us to be. They don't expect us to be some bump on a log that doesn't want to move around, that'll just kind of, say, oh, you can come see me if you've got any questions. Wow, well, that realtor sucks. People don't want that. They want to be wowed, saying, look at this, and practice, this motion here. And have the body language, have the energy, have the excitement. If you got to get a coffee or some energy drinks or maybe some caffeine pills or whatever you got to do to get yourself pepped up, hyped up, and excited, because look, they're not going to get excited about this experience and about you if you're not excited. And the goal here, again, is showcasing you. They're there to see the house. And while you're showcasing you, you're really showcasing the house. You're talking about the things about the property and how that pertains to them, connecting the features to the benefits to them, and so on and so forth. But really, the sale here is the sale of you. You want these people to want to come back to you. And if you didn't get a good job of selling yourself, of showcasing yourself, they're not going to want to talk to you again. You want to get it where the people are calling you up because they're like, wow, I wouldn't think of using any other real estate agent except for you because you just blow our expectations out of the water. That's what you want people feeling about you at your open houses. Because if you're able to do that, it makes everything so much easier because they're like, wow, John knows what he's talking about. John knows this business. John knows so much. We need to have John helping us sell our house or buy our house. That's your job. Get them to that level of admiration. That's what I would call it, really, admiration for you. And it's tough to do. You've really got to take it up and turn it up to 11 and make it really about them. It's not really, again, not telling them about yourself, but showing how you can benefit them. Showing, not telling, showing them. So that's what's, I would probably say, is the most important. Now, everything else before this is definitely important as well because it makes it hard to showcase yourself where you're being pulled in 10 different directions. So that's why you want help there. Let's say you did a great job showcasing yourself, but they lost your business card. Well, how are you going to contact them? That's why you need a sign-in. And if for the ones that maybe forgot about you, still have a sign-in so you could quickly call them the next day. Hey, it was great meeting you at the open house. I found a couple other properties. I think you guys might be interested. You're still looking at purchasing a home, correct? And however it is that based on your relationship and what information it is that you gathered that you relay to them. But key thing there is showcasing you. Now, less than 1% of houses sell as a result of an open house. Less than 1%. So that means you hold 100 open houses, you might sell one of those houses you're holding open. So the goal here is not to sell the open house. It's to sell yourself. And they've got to trust you if they're going to want to buy this property. If they don't trust you, they're going to think twice about purchasing the property. So if your seller says, oh, you're too worried about yourself and marketing yourself, hey, look, if they don't trust me, they're going to have hesitations about buying this house. So statistics say less than 1% of houses sell as a result of an open house. If we have any chance of capitalizing on that 1%, they need to be believers in John Chrismo or whoever you are. They need to be believers in you before they'll be willing to talk to you and ask the serious questions about that particular property. So you've got to showcase you. And then let's just jump right now into the after. So that's what you're doing during. Have assistance, have help, have somebody there to help herd the masses, because that's what you should be having at this open house is masses. The more people you have in there, the more chances you're going to find qualified buyers and sellers that are ready to buy and sell right now. But even if you don't get a lot of traffic, every person you get walking into that open house is a potential buyer and seller. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when they're going to be that buyer or seller. And a lot of times agents will give up before they find out when they're ready to be a buyer and seller. And that's why it's so important for what you do after the open house. So this is essential to maximize your return on investment. So again, less than 1% of houses sell as a result of an open house. So that means you could have 100 average open houses. And if you're holding an above average open house already, you're already going to be better than these statistics. But based on the average open house, again, 1 out of 100 sells. So if you don't do anything after the sale to follow up with these clients, you're going to get 1 sale on average for every 100 open houses that you hold, which is not a profitable return on your investment of time and whatever else it is you're investing in these open houses. But let's say you get 20. Let's not even say 20. Let's say you get 5 potential buyers or sellers coming to your open house. You have a really slow open house. You only get 5 people that show up. You're disappointed. You're over there kicking rocks because you're like, man, I hate real estate. I only have 5 people show up at this open house here. Well, that's because you didn't maximize the exposure. So now you know for your next open house, you've got to really put more into getting exposure on the property so more than 5 people show up. But let's say there was 5 people that showed up here. None of them bought the house today because it says, again, on average, we'll have to hold 100 open houses to get 1 sold. So none of them want to buy that house. They're not interested in buying that house. If we did a good job of showcasing us, they should want to use us as their real estate professional. And that's a question you could ask them. Hey, have you been working with a realtor? Has there been anybody showing you homes? Is there anybody that you've talked to about buying a home? Hey, I'd love to be that person. I'd love to help you guys out. I have access to every home that's listed in the Tampa Bay area, and as well as some properties that aren't listed, that aren't on the market in the Tampa Bay area. I'd love to help you out and match you guys up with the perfect property. Do you mind telling me a little bit about what it is that you don't like about this house that you'd be looking for in your ideal house? And you're pulling out this information. So this ultimately you want to do here, and this is setting up the after. This is setting up the after. So you have to do this in the during the open house. You have to set up the after. What is it that you don't like about this house that you wish it had that would make it the ideal house for you? Okay, yeah, that's great information. Okay, I could already think of a couple things based on what you've told me here. Now let me ask you this though. What are your favorite parts about this house? What is it that draw you most to this house? What is it that's the most convincing about this house? Okay, yeah, that's great information. So we're extracting this information, finding out what they like, what they don't like, maybe asking about their current house. Tell me a little bit about your current house. How long have you guys been living there? Are you owning or renting? Oh, you own it. Great. Have you listed it on the market yet? Oh, no, we're still looking. We want to find the right house first before we go list the property for sale. Hey, I completely understand that here. So tell me a little bit about your house, and we'll fix that problem of them thinking they should find their house first before they put their house on the market, because that's not the right way to do that. But you're gathering this information so you know what's important. You know what information you need to relay to them. And ultimately in the after, You get this accomplished right during the open house. You get an appointment set up. Hey, I get done here at 3 o'clock. What do you say? Are you guys available at 3:30 today to go take a look at a couple properties? Yeah, 3:30 sounds great. Fantastic. I'll meet you at this address at 3:30 here. And is this your cell phone number? Okay, great. I'll text you some information as well. So that way you can start building that channel of communication out. So if you do that, there's nothing you have to do after. But let's say for these people, and that might be one person that you've got during this open house out of the, maybe even there's only 4 or 5 people that show up. There's a high likelihood that you'll have at least one person who will be in that boat that really genuinely needs to buy a house now. They just haven't found the right house yet. Those are the lowest hanging fruit. But then what about that fruit that's higher up on the tree that's not quite ripe yet? The people that are, yeah, we've been thinking about buying, but we're still looking right now. We're still trying to find out where we want to live. Oh yeah, completely understand that. What is it that you guys have looked at so far? What did you like about those areas? What did you not like about those areas? Where are some places that you would never want to live? Asking these questions, getting the information. So that's great information. If you'd like, I could go ahead and send you out some reports on some of these areas here, so maybe we can narrow that down a little bit more. I could actually, I've actually got some time tomorrow. Are you guys available at 1 p.m.? Fantastic. If you come by my office at 1 p.m. tomorrow, we can go ahead and I'll give you guys a free consultation, and we'll go through some things, and I'll set you up in the MLS so you can search directly on the MLS for your properties and get the most accurate and up-to-date information about properties available. Oh wow, you hear that, honey? He's going to set us up on the on the MLS. I know we had that thing, but we'll be there. Done. And what we're doing here is we're establishing a relationship. We're getting our foot in the door early. So when there's other agents that are trying to steal them away as a listing or steal them away as a buyer, they're going to be our own best defense. They're going to say, oh, no, our real estate agent is great. We wouldn't trade him for the world. Nothing they could do there. They're yours. You've won them over. And that giving them access to the MLS, you have the ability to do that in your MLS portal. You could set up a client portal, which allows them to search all the properties in the MLS. So you're giving them the power that you have. Now, a lot of agents might say, well, give them access to the MLS. Well, what do they need me for if they've already got access to the MLS? Well, they still need you. If all you are is a gatekeeper to the MLS, you're not a professional. You're an amateur. So there's a lot more that we do than just give them access to the MLS. That's just our way to give them information, to get our foot in the door, to start building out the relationship, and capitalizing on all the capabilities that the MLS has for us to track who's the ones that are most frequent in searching for properties and so on and so forth. So the follow-up after the ideal is appointments. And even that person there that said, hey, I'm not ready yet, well, have we confirmed that they're not ready yet, even though they've said they're not ready yet? Are they just using that as a defense to not be tricked or conned by some sort of salesperson? Because that's their natural defenses that they have. To say no to everything, to turn down everything, to be polite and not take somebody's offer, whatever the case may be. So having an actual sit-down appointment, whether that's to show other properties or maybe for somebody who's not as qualified, who's not as ready right now, to still have a sit-down appointment with them, go through a consultation, really, again, take that opportunity to wow them even more and start facilitating that relationship for when they are ready. And then maybe you find out that they're actually pretty ready right now. They just didn't really know that they're ready, and that appointment helps them understand that. So the ideal in the after is having an appointment, and you set this up during the open house. You don't want to wait until after the open house because people won't answer their phone, they won't return their calls, they're not going to check their email. So you want to set up this appointment during the open house and be setting up your week full of appointments, because no appointments means no contracts means no closings means no commission. So you've got to be doing this. You've got to be setting up appointments. That nothing else, everything starts off with some appointment. If you don't have appointments, you don't get paid. You've got to have appointments. And I'd rather go through some bad appointments than have no appointments at all. I'd rather have some appointments that don't give me any return on my investment. Even if it's a case when this is rare, because again, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But let's say if it was where they're completely unqualified, they'll never be qualified, they never want to buy a house, whatever it may be, and the whole never say never thing. But even in that situation, I'd rather waste a half hour, 45 minutes of time in that appointment than have no appointments at all. So have the appointment and find out really whether or not they're qualified, whether or not they're ready, when they're going to be ready, and dig out all this information and show value throughout this process. And let's say you can't get an appointment. Oh, no, I really appreciate that, but look, we're not ready yet. Okay, look, I completely understand. Look, you guys are local, correct? Yeah, we are. Of course they're local. If they're local, they just drove here, so you'll have very rare chances where they're going to say no to that, where they're not local. And even if they're not local, they're looking to move to the area. Well, great. Yeah, I'll go ahead, and what I'll do is I'll send you out a market report of the area tomorrow. And then I'll just give you a quick call. Just make sure you receive that and just kind of go over this stuff, because if you're thinking about buying or selling, you're going to want to see this market report so you can really make sure you're making the best decision possible. And of course, you always have access to me. If you want to call me, text me, email me, whatever it is, and whenever you have a question, something you don't understand, I'm there to help you. Well, that sounds great. So look, even though we didn't really get an in-person appointment, we kind of still got an informal appointment. So we want to have some sort of follow-up. If we don't have an appointment, if we don't actually have some date and time set to meet with them, we at least want to foreshadow, we at least want to introduce this concept of, hey, I want to follow up with you. I want to stay in touch with you. I know you guys aren't ready to buy now. I know you're not ready to sell now, but I want to be the person that helps you when you are ready. And not for me, but for you. I want to show you how superior I am to any other agent possible, and how no one will do as much for their clients as I will. Oh, well, how do you say no to that? They can, absolutely, but typically won't happen, especially if you get that delivery correct. So the appointment and follow-up, that's what you want to do after. You want to set the appointment during the open house, so that way you've already got your next step set up. And follow up with them before the appointment. Hey, are we still good for 1 o'clock today? Can't wait to see you guys. Found some stuff that's really interesting. Can't wait to show it to you. Something like that to make sure and confirm that they're going to be there and they didn't just forget about your appointment, because that'll happen a lot as well. So that's really a good kind of surface level cover of everything of before the open house, during the open house, and after the open house, what it is that you should be doing. Remember, before, you want to maximize exposure. During, you want to showcase yourself. And after, you want to follow up. That's what all this boils down to. You've got to do all three of these to maximize the profitability of your open houses. You leave out any of these steps and you're setting yourself up for failure. So maximize the exposure before, showcase yourself during, and follow up after. You do that, that is your formula for success with open houses. There's a lot of ways to do those in the detailed micro level, but those are the overall things it is you need to be doing. Maximize exposure, showcase yourself, and follow up. You do those three things, watch as you're say, wow, open houses are the greatest thing ever. Look, that's about all the time we've got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you've got any questions, drop those in the comments. Even if you're watching after the live stream is over here, if you're watching the recording of this, drop those into the chat and we'll respond back to you and help you understand whatever it is that we can. If you've got questions about getting your license or maybe completing post-licensing or continuing education or anything like that, give us a call. The phone number is 813-333-2676. You also text us at that number, 333-2676, area code 813. Check us out online at tampaschool.com. That's all the time we've got for today. If you haven't checked out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, you'll be able to watch the replay of this episode as well as all the previous episodes of State of Real Estate and Ask the Instructor, as well as all kinds of other great, helpful tools. That's everything we've got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.
Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate.